want a second look.
Yeah, there's something about this one, isn't there? Familiar somehow.
We think we're stuck in a specific fragment in time, and we've been repeating that same fragment over and over again.
But the flirting's over, Sherlock. Daddy's had enough now.
Hello and welcome to You've Seen It Before, TV Reviews Connection to Mind. Hawkeye Season 1 is the next MCU series to drop on Disney+. All 6 episodes of the season are now streaming on Disney+, and this series features Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton / Hawkeye, as well as Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. And this series focuses on the young Kate Bishop as she gets in over her head and somehow gets in possession of the Ronin costume from Clint's possession that he had last seen in Avengers Endgame, and of course Ronin had made some enemies, and Kate Bishop finds herself in way over her head, and it's up to Clint Barton to come in and save her skin from what she didn't understand was going on. All while this is happening at Christmas time, and all Clint wants to do is get home to his family for the holidays. Now, this video review will contain some spoilers for Hawkeye Season 1, but I'll be doing my spoiler-free thoughts first before I get into any spoilers, but that's your fair warning. There will be some spoilers later on in this review. But first, let's get into some spoiler-free talk on Hawkeye Season 1. Is it a good series? Is it a worthy addition to the MCU? Is it worth watching at all? Yes, yes, and yes. This is a very fun series, and as far as my personal rankings of the 5, I think, MCU shows that have dropped on Disney Plus thus far, I would say this is below WandaVision, this is below Loki, but it is above Falcon and Winter Soldier and above What If for me, because, but I mean, that places it in the middle of the pack, but it's a little bit above that, because honestly, this is just such a fun series, and it's also a much smaller series, because while the other series, some of them have, big end-of-the-world stakes or, like, cosmic implications. This one, I mean, this is all happening within, a couple of days, all in New York, and, I mean, it's a really simple setup, It's like Clint wants to get home for Christmas, but he has to deal with this problem first, and something keeps coming up, and he has to keep calling his wife and say, I'm gonna be back, and then it's like, Kate's just like, I want to, it's like, you're Hawkeye, I want to be like you, but what's the heck's going on? And, I mean, that's just a fun setup. And, I mean, you have not only the great banter between the two main leads, but also great interaction between the supporting characters. You have, fun action sequences. My favorite, I think, is probably in episode 3 when there's an extended car chase, as well as, the final, action scene in the finale. But, I mean, I keep saying fun a lot just because this is such a fun series, and there's really not much more I can say about it. I really have very few nitpicks about that. Mostly in episode 1, it is a little slow to get going, I think, momentum-wise, and I think it was smart for Disney Plus to drop the first 2 episodes when this started, because I think it only really starts to get going around the second half of episode 2. But then it really doesn't slow down for the rest of the series, so that's a good thing. And then I do have my qualms about the ending, but then that's starting to get into some spoiler territory, so I won't touch on it just yet. But really, those are the only nitpicks I have with this. I mean, the humor is on point, I think. And like, some of my biggest laughs are in this, of any MCU Disney Plus show, are in this series. So that should be something that you should look forward to. And also, because this is, set in Christmas, I think this is a worthy addition to any, Christmas special watch or whatever. Because, I mean, it is only 6 episodes. It's a quick binge, I think. And I may well add this to my rotation of, regular rotation of Christmas media for next Christmas. And Christmases after that. So if I was going to give Hawkeye Season 1 a letter grade, I would say this is a solid A. It's not perfect, but it is way better than some of the other Disney Plus shows that we've seen come up so far this year. So those are my spoiler-free thoughts on Hawkeye Season 1. Now let's get into some spoiler talk as certain plot developments and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen them before. Now, the whole, kind of premise of Kate Bishop, getting in over her head and being hunted down relentlessly, and someone else have to come in and basically say, I'm gonna fix this, I'm gonna protect you from this. It kind of made me think of the Terminator, actually, with the relationship between, Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese. It's not the same exact thing, of course, but that whole setup was kind of familiar to me. I know that setup's been done a bunch of different ways in a bunch of different movies, but that was just the one that kind of cropped into my head. And also, if you're going to compare this to another MCU Disney Plus show, I would say because this series also focuses on Clint struggling with his identity as a superhero, struggling with what he's done in the past. How does he work? Being someone to look up to, or is he looked up to at all? These are the kind of deep questions that I think he's wrestling with, and it makes me think. I mean, it's not talking about the same subject material, but these sorts of questions are kind of what made me think of Falcon and the Winter Soldier in this respect, because that series also focuses on tackling that kind of deep question and having the time of multiple episodes to flesh these questions out, and maybe leaving some of them open-ended. That's the sort of strength that this kind of show can give, and I think this series did that quite well. So those are my main connections that I identified with that. I'm sure I missed something, but the main kind of nitpick that I had, and I was alluding to before as far as my nitpick with the ending, is with the final episode in The Villain of Kingpin. Now, I love Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk as Kingpin, and I love the Daredevil Netflix series. And I was really stoked that they brought him back into the MCU for this. But I feel like that's kind of pointless to bring him back as this, in this context, because he's only in this show for, I don't know, maybe 25 minutes total between in the final episode, and they don't really explain a whole bunch. I mean, I know, watching the Daredevil show that they explain that he has special suits that are bulletproof, so that explains why when he gets shot with the arrow, he can just flick it away. But that doesn't explain how he can survive, getting grenade arrows explode in his face and then get knocked against the wall or something like that. And then it's like, oh, he somehow survived that. All right, cool. And then we're somehow supposed to believe that it's a threatening situation when, Echo confronts him at the very end and holds the gun to his head. And he's like, and then the camera starts to pan up and then you hear the gunshot. And it's like, I am not buying for 1 second that he actually dies in this, because you don't bring back Vincent D'Onofrio for one episode and then say that's it. No, there's no way they're going to do that. And also, I mean, he can survive all that other stuff, and then it's like, oh yeah, Bullet's gonna kill him now. It's like, no, that was a dumb move. But really, that's the only major nitpick I have with this season. Overall, I think it was a really fun and great season. I'm looking forward to more like it. So what did you think of Hawkeye Season 1? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What about my analysis? Do you agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my next movie review, which will be for The King's Man, which I'll be seeing tonight and hopefully getting a review up shortly after that. As well as my next review and reaction to the next episode of Season 4 of Star Trek Discovery. As well as I'll be doing my usual best and worst of 2021 video on New Year's Eve. Be sure to look for all of that. And if you like this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. But just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before.